Hi guys, welcome to the topic of sewing with specialty fabrics. This is going to be a really fun course. I love sewing with different types of fabrics, things that seem much more authentic to real clothing than your typical quilting cottons and that type of fabric, which really sort of puts things in the position of looking like doll clothes versus real clothes. Very rarely will you see a Liberty Jane design that's made in a standard quilting cotton. Usually I'm looking for things that just have a little bit more luxurious feel or realistic feel. So like silk du peony or just some chiffon or organza, specialty fabrics with some embroidered work on it or sequin type fabrics. All of those really give a different look and feel to the pieces. It kind of elevates them a little bit and really just helps set them apart. Now, when you're sewing with these types of fabrics, there are different challenges that are presented. So throughout this course, it's going to be divided into 4 topics, and we're going to touch on all the different types of challenges that might arise, as well as just tips and techniques that I use to successfully work with these specialty slippery types of fabrics. In part 1, we're going to look at the different types of fabrics, the needles that you need to use, the machine press or foot that works best with that type of fabric, cutting out techniques and tips, as well as just general tips for those specific fabrics. In part 2, we'll look at the more delicate types of fabrics and the best seam finishes and construction methods and techniques for those types of fabrics, as well as using linings or underlays with those delicate fabrics. It can make a big difference in how the fabric drapes or lays, or how you can finish and do the construction of the garment with the use of the underlay fabric. In part 3, we'll continue with the delicate fabrics and the best ways to finish the edges of the garment. So the hem finishing or neckline finishing, those types of things, we'll jump in and really show you some tips and techniques for doing that on a standard sewing machine. Then we'll wrap up the course in part 4 with a look at the more slinky and stretchy type fabrics, even sequined fabrics, all of them that are used with dance costumes, princess dresses, a combination of the delicate fabrics and the more stretchy type fabrics are frequently used together to create those types of costumes. So we'll take a look at some projects and then tips and tricks for working with both types of fabric and how to put them together and create pieces successfully. And then, of course, I'll provide you with a complete resource list of all the supplies that I've used, the best places that I know to find the different tools needed, as well as types of fabrics. My hope is that once you go through this course, you won't fear working with these types of fabrics and always gravitate towards sewing with quilting cottons. It really will make a big difference in how you feel about what you've created, as well as how other people see what you've created. You can use these types of fabrics with both expensive and inexpensive choices. So depending on who the recipient is, whether it's a collector or a young girl, you can still use these tips and techniques and fabric choices to really wow people and set your items apart. All right, guys, that's it. That is the overview for the Sewing with Specialty Fabrics course. Let's get started.